Every day, usually in the morning between 5 and 11 a.m., we release our Central Indiana Scoreboard show with all the details from the previous day from the Pacers, Colts, Fever, IndyCar, IU, Purdue, Ball State, Butler, and of course the best high school sports coverage in Central Indiana. We also have major national sports news. It's like a sports section in audio form. Please join us for your daily audio sports section. You are listening to the Central Indiana Sports Report, podcast number 289.4, the Combat Sports Report with Hanson Crafton. On this Combat Sports Report, Hanson and I talk about the boxing card in Virginia and UFC 316 in Newark.
You're listening to the Central Indiana Sports Report with your host, Greg Mengels.
Welcome, fight fans, to the Central Indiana Sports Report and the Combat Report with Hanson Crafton. Hanson, it's been a few weeks, mostly because it's been a light schedule in the fighting world, but also because we've had a lot of things to cover around here. The Pacers, of course, unbelievable run right now, and we're also in the high school postseason, so we've been really busy, haven't really had time, and hasn't had a ton to talk about, but we do this, in fact, right now, have some breaking news. Tell us about the boxing news.
Yeah, so we were scheduled for a good title fight this weekend. Keyshawn Davis, 13-0, 9 KOs, was going to put his WBO lightweight title on the line. He was going to fight Edwin De Los Santos. De Los Santos is 16-2 with 14 KOs. It was going to be a real interesting fight. De Santos is coming off a loss, but he lost to Shakur Stevenson, who's he's another great fighter. Just no shame to lose there. So it was looking like we was headed for a big fight tomorrow night, and then about an hour and a half ago, the fight got canceled because Keyshawn Davis missed weight by 4 pounds.
Whoa, that's a big miss.
Yeah, exactly. That's like one or two is not terrible, but 4 seems like he didn't even try. Now I know this was going to be his last fight at 135, but
I assume he had a scale, right?
I
assume he knew this coming in. He had to lose the weight, but he just seems like he chose not to.
Yeah, that's what they interviewed him. He said he just outgrew the weight. Like I said, this was going to be his last fight at 35 anyways. So he'll move up to 140 next. He'll probably fight for a super lightweight title. And
you would think so, yeah.
So we'll see who it goes from there.
Speaking of super lightweights, there's still a really good fight on Saturday night. This, of course, is that in Norfolk, Virginia. It's Bob Arum top rank slate, and it's also got a really good lightweight fight. And so tell us about the card.
So the fight that's left on there that's going to save the card, of course, you still have Keon Davis, which is Keyshawn's little brother. He'll probably open up the card. He's up and comer. Still not highly ranked, but he's undefeated. He will be ranked. He's from a great camp. His brother's really good. Bud Crawford's in his camp, so he's trained by Bo Mack, who's a really good trainer. He'll probably open the card. Yes, he'll probably open the card. And then the lightweight fight that everybody be tuned into is the return of Abullah Mason. Abullah Mason's an outstanding prospect, 18-0, 16 KOs. He's a very exciting fighter, fast starter. He hunts KOs. He can knock you out with body shots, head shots. He's a real fun fighter. Now, he has had issues running into punches. 2 fights ago, he did get dropped twice in the first round. He did drop the other guy 3 times and get the stoppage. But he does seem to sometimes get a little excited and kind of throw himself in the shots he really doesn't have to. He's got great hand speed, really good fighting off his back foot. That was one thing that really surprised me in his last fight. He's really good on his back foot. You think you're chasing him, and he can land uppercuts walking backwards that can put you out. Really fun fighter. I'm excited to watch Abdullah Mason. He'll save the card tomorrow. He's fighting Jeremia Nakathila. He's a 26-4, 21 KOs. He's a big puncher, but he's also been knocked out twice. So I expect somebody to go down in this one. Like I said, Mason has shown to get hit by stuff, so this could be a guy who could fit that style and maybe give Mason a fight. But if he doesn't, I could see Mason maybe storming through this guy and getting him out within the first 4 rounds.
By the way, this card can be seen on ESPN and ESPN Plus for you fight fans. And also another fight here, super lightweight, an up-and-comer, Kelvin Davis is 15-0
Yes,
against Nahir Albright, who's 16-2. And this one could have implications in this division.
it's a setup fight for Davis. Albright's a
Right.
good fighter, but Davis should get the win there and then move on to something a little bit bigger. It's kind of when you have some of these young guys all on the same card, that's what they like to do. They want you to see all. They want to showcase all of them, and that's what they were planning to do with Davis, and Mason. But yeah, I think Davis should get that win over Albright, and then I don't know what'll be next for him. I would say he'll probably get a top contender.
You would think so. One thing I want to point out about this card is that there are 32 and a half Davises fighting in this.
Yes, a lot of Davises.
Also, Hanson UFC 316 is coming up this weekend in Newark, New Jersey, and a couple of title fights, both bantamweight title fights, the men's and women's. We got Merab Davishvili against Sean O'Malley in the men's title fight, and we got Juliana Pena versus Kayla Harrison in the women's title fight. What are you looking forward to most with this card, Hanson?
I love the main event, Merab and Sean O'Malley. It's a rematch from September of last year. Merab did win the first fight by decision. It's an interesting fight. Rematches normally. I remember one time there was a stat with UFC at one point the rematches were split right down the middle. It was like 13-13 for the winner of the
Wow.
first match and the loser of the first. But I think it's went more towards the winner here lately. Marab's this is one of those good stylish matchups. Marab's a really good wrestler, great control, great pressure. He's probably got one of the best gas tanks in the UFC. So he's able to keep a constant pressure on these guys with really good wrestling. He'll take down, take down, take down. When he gets you on the ground, he can keep you there. And then O'Malley's a really good kickboxer. He can get the knockout finish, good hands, uses his feet to set up his hands, got good kicks, wheel kicks. He could come from anywhere with it. So it's one of those interesting matchups, striker versus grappler. I lean a little towards Merab just because I see more paths to victory for Merab.
Man,
O'Malley
those
doesn't.
Georgians can wrestle, can't they?
His wrestling's really good. He's really good at chaining them together. He goes for a takedown. If he doesn't get it, he can stay on and go for another one. Switch from single to double. He got a little bit of judo in him. I mean, Rob's a good wrestler, and like I said, his gas tank is probably his biggest weapon because he could go, 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 and we've seen him get hurt a couple of times, and he recovers very well because he's in such good shape. So he's able to kind of, he got in let's see, I think it was the Cejudo fight. He got dropped in the first round and dominated the second and third round. He's got a gas tank that's out of this world, and he uses it as a weapon in his fights. And I think that'll be what keeps the fight in his favor against O'Malley with O'Malley's striking abilities.
This card is on ESPN Plus. It starts at the main event. Starts at 10 o'clock on Saturday night. Tell me about the women's fight. A couple of Americans, and it looks like the Harrison's probably a significant favorite in this one.
Yeah, she's a huge favorite, minus 750. It's one of those where they're both strong points are grappling. Harrison's a two-time Olympic gold medalist in judo. Juliana, her biggest weapon is probably her heart. I kind of agree with the odds makers on this one. I don't really see how Juliana gets by with this one. Neither one of them
Harrison
have
is
great
so much
stand-up.
bigger.
Oh, she's huge for the weight class.
She's so huge.
When she cuts weight, she looks like a skeleton. I mean, she is huge for the weight class. And, like I said, Olympic gold medalist, so she's really good at her craft. Neither one of them are great stand-up, but I think Harrison's better at, like Juliana's a great grappler, but she's not a great wrestler. I think Harrison's a better wrestler, so she has more takedown ability, I would say. Like, she can get her against the cage and drop down for doubles and take her down. Juliana's takedowns are more from just wearing you out and kind of just dragging you down. And with Juliana being a big favorite, she still can win. She's a slight or a big dog. I don't know, like I said, she's her biggest weapon's her toughness. And sometimes she's just able to outlast some of these girls, and then she gets them at the end of the fight. I don't know with Harrison. I haven't seen her gas out, but with her just being so big and muscular, it just kind of it wouldn't surprise me if she gassed later in the fight and Pena was able to maybe pull something off. Now she has really good submissions. That's how she beat Amanda Nunes when they fought. Now Nunes was coming off COVID, so she kind of tired out pretty quick. But Pena was able to outlast this early striking, get it to the ground later in the fight, and she choked out Nunes for the belt. Um, I don't necessarily know if she could do that, but I wouldn't be surprised. So, I'm leaning towards Harrison. I think she's probably rightfully so the big favorite, but I think Pena could sneak one out if it involves Harrison getting tired.
So if you were going to place a bet, you'd probably put it on Pena at those odds.
Yes, I would do a parlay with all the fights. I'd probably put Harrison on that, and then I would definitely put a small bet on Pena on the side as well.
See if that would pay off. All right,
Yeah.
of the other three in the main card, tell me which ones you're looking forward to most.
Well, they're all interesting fights. Kelvin Gastelum and Joe Pfeiffer's a really good fight. Joe Pfeiffer's a guy who hits like a truck. Most of his wins are knockouts. He's a big time puncher. Gastelum's a guy, he's been around a little bit, but he's still only 33 years old. I know he's got a lot of wear on him. He's been fighting for a long time. He was a Ultimate Fighter winner. Been up and down. He's kind of small for the weight class. He's never been finished. So that's an interesting fight here. Pfeiffer is a pretty decent favorite. So we'll see if Gaslam's chin can hold up against such a big power puncher like Pfeiffer. I don't really know. Kelvin is super tough. He's fought a lot of big hitters before. He does have that Mexican style fight in him. But Pfeiffer, like I said, he hits like a truck. So that one's very interesting. And then I love the bantamweight fight with Patchy Mix coming over to UFC. So he's the former Bellator champion. It's his first fight in the UFC. He could really shake up the division with a solid performance. So I'm really interested in that. He's got a fun style. He's a good kickboxer. And then Batista is also very good too. He's on a few fight winning streak. He's no easy win for Mix coming into the UFC. This is a good test. I mean, if Batista wins, he'll probably be one fight away from a title shot himself. So that's a very fun fight, a very interesting fight. Like I said, it should be a fan favorite fight because I think those styles are they're both just going to clash, and I think it's going to be a very fast paced fight.
Plus, how can you not love a guy named Patchy Mix? That's just an awesome name.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And he's a super confident guy too. Even at the at the press conference, they was asking about coming to the UFC and if he was kind of looking forward to a title fight already. And he said it. I mean, I don't know if it's going to work or not, but he said he's already looking through the guy. So he's oozing confidence. Like I said, he's a former champion from another promotion. Now we have seen a lot of the times those other champs from promotions come over and don't fare too well in the UFC, but I think he could. Like I said, he's a very exciting fighter. Even if he doesn't fare well, he'll be one guy who always puts on a lot of fun fights.
And there's a welterweight fight as well, right?
Yes, Kevin Holland and Vicente Luque. These are guys who are just good fighters. Luque's kind of more towards the end of his run. He's coming off a few losses in his last few fights. Holland's a guy who's notoriously been up and down in his career, but he is a guy who will jump weights. He'll fight at middleweight. He'll fight at welterweight. He'll fight on short notice. I mean, I think he's had 2 years where he's fought 5 times in the year. He's a guy who stays active, so he does have some losses on his record, but he's a fun fighter. Luque's also a fun fighter. Luque's a guy who can finish you on the feet on the ground, just like Holland. Holland can finish you on the feet on the ground. This is a very good fight to start the pay-per-view card. It's going to be fun. I don't think it goes the distance. Somebody will get finished in this fight, and I'm leaning towards the favorite, Kevin Holland.
And of course, Hanson, as you know, my favorite division is the heavyweight division because if everybody fought, they would win. So they're the best. So that's the way I look at it. That's the way I've always looked at it. I'm like, why am I wasting my time with these other divisions when they couldn't beat the heavyweight? Anyway, interesting. They are. And nothing gets my blood pressure up more than a heavyweight championship fight. It just, there's nothing better. You never know what's going to happen. And So we got number 7 in the world, Sergey Spivak, and number 11, Waldo Cortez Acosta in the prelims. Um, should be a good one if you like heavyweights.
Yeah, it's another striker versus grappler matchup. Spivak, very good ground guy. He does have decent stand up. I think he does have some finishes on his feet. Overall, I think he's got 15 finishes. I think he's 8-7 or 7-8. So he's knocked out 7 guys, submitted 8. He is a finisher. Now he's fighting Waldo Acosta, who's a good puncher. I think half his victories all come by knockout, and I think they're early rounds too. So he's a guy who likes to try to get people out early. He's a decent puncher. I Even though he's ranked below, I think he's the favorite. I can't see the odds right now, but I'm pretty sure he's the favorite going into it. And he should win by knockout. So it should be exciting for those who like those. I think it should be a fast fight. Or, like I
That's
said,
what
with
I
these
like.
grapplers, yeah, with these grapplers, though, you never know. I mean, if Acosta takes a big swing and gets taken down, I know these heavyweights get tired pretty quick on the ground. Spivak could, catch a limb or get a choke in. So, like you said, the heavyweight fights are always interesting. Always expect a finish, at least I do, going into at least MMA fights. You could kind of always expect a finish with the heavyweights. So I'm expecting the same thing with this one. It should be a fun fight, and I don't think it goes 3 rounds.
Hanson, I am against fights that go the distance. I'm just going to say it. I'm against it. All right. There's also a guy named Chaos Williams, a guy named Andreas Gustafsson, and as everyone knows, there is no such person as Andreas Gustafsson. So that's an old commercial, and it's a great one. So anyway, thanks so much. We're going to hear from you again pretty soon and do a wrap-up of the weekend. I think we're going to shoot for Monday morning. What do you think of that?
Sounds good to me. I tell you what, Halliburton has made me a fan. I really, just for all the disrespect he got for being named the most overrated, they made fun of him for not playing with the Olympic team and stuff. I mean, he has, in my opinion, been one of the best playoff performers of the last few years.
And of course, he's right. Halliburton has been amazing. What an amazing story. And man, he was disrespected the last round. I love Pascal Siakam, but to not be named MVP of the Eastern Conference Finals, just ridiculous. Guess he's gonna have to go out and prove it again. Thanks so much to Hanson. Love talking about the fighting game with him every week, previewing the weekend, and then the plan going forward is to talk about the weekend later on, probably on Mondays when we don't have as much going on. We will recap what happened over the weekend, and hopefully we'll start to get some co-hosts with him who know a little bit more about fighting than I do, and make a little bit more of a discussion than just a preview. But, like we've said since the beginning, our goal is to continue to get better and better as we evolve as a podcast. And do us a favor, if you like what you hear and appreciate what we're doing, please share with your friends and family, or as producer Susie says, go ahead and share it with your enemies and strangers as well. And if you see somebody with a Pacer shirt, Colts, Fever, whatever, IU, Purdue, just, hey, there's this podcast. It's pretty cool. It's pretty good. You're going to want to check it out. Thanks, everybody. Central Indiana Sports Report is a product of ITG Media, and I love Susie.